back to another episode of the Higher Level Podcast. As always, join with me this evening is Higher Level Head Coach James Doolan, looking comfortable in his office there. All right, James?
Hi, I'm good, man. I'm good.
And our special guest tonight, we have on with us two-weight WBO World Champion, Paul Weir. For joining us, Paul, and giving us some of your time.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks, James.
Brilliant. And obviously we're all in a kind of similar situation at the moment, different parts of the world. Paul, tell us how things are going out in Dubai, mate. I mean, there could be worse places to be in lockdown, to be fair, but how is things going out there?
I suppose it's like everybody else in the world just now. We're in 24/7 lockdown. We can't go out anymore, even for an hour's exercise. I know in the UK you can still go out and go and do your exercise. We can't leave the home at all unless we apply for a permit. And then we've got a time slot when to leave, and we've got to inform them where we're going. And we can only go to either the shops for messages or the medical, for anything wrong with it medical-wise. But I think that's even changed as of today. You can't even get out for anything medical. It has to be something specific now.
Right, aye. We're in lockdown, you're on lockdown, but it seems like yous are actually in lockdown versus ours. Feels like or seems to be that it's a bit more relaxed, because I don't think everybody still is taking it quite as serious as they should.
No, I don't think so, but it seems to be kind of the recoveries seem to be getting better or quicker from what I can see on the news. It seems to be more people recovering quickly.
And how long have you been in lockdown out there? When did they put you in lockdown?
I think maybe March 22nd, 23rd of March. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been kind of full lockdown. But the first week it was quite lenient. You could still get out and about and go here and go there, you know, although you're in lockdown. But then they just says nobody leaves anywhere. And what they've started doing, the people who are out and about, a lot of the personal trainers who are out doing they're saying they're maybe going for meshes and they're doing trains. So they've got drones in there now and they're catching them. And what they're doing is they're exposing them online and giving their names out, who they are. But what they do is they find you. First time they catch you, they'll fine you. Second time they'll jail you and they'll deport you.
Wow. So in every sense of the word.
They don't mess about.
Aye, I think we could maybe do with some drones here down at Strathclyde Park. It's still like a holiday camp down there. Jesus Christ, man.
It's funny because Ryan Brawley was messaging me last week, you know, the boxer from Irvine. And I said, he was asking how things were, and I said, how are things with you with the good weather? And I says, I take it the people down the beach park in Irvine with the tops off. He come back and says, they're down just now with the tops off. He says, and the police will be stopping them.
It's madness.
It's hard, but you can understand for the people. It's hard for people to know to tell people, you know, they can't leave the house.
Aye.
I mean, it's hard. I know there's a virus going about, you know, a alleged virus going about, you know, and people are dying, you know, and I believe it's affecting the older people, but generally in the ill. But we get the flu every year. We get, you know, ammonia every year, you know, and you never get the numbers of how many people actually die. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you see the mixed reports, whether it's fake news or not, I don't know, you know, but a lot of locations where the hospitals are not as busy as what they're being put over the news and the media. And the media are doing inflate things to make it more controversial. That's what sells.
Aye, to be fair, that's sort of all that's in the media now. I know the lockdown must be tough for a lot of people. I'm not too bad. I think, James, you're probably the same. I don't know how you're going dealing with it at the moment, but I'm kind of all right just now. Apart from the kids running me ragged, I'm not too terrible yet.
I'm just dying to get back to work type of thing. I'm just like, I've never been off work, and I don't know how people can sit about their house all day, like, and that's normal life for them. It's driving me crazy. Like I play with the kid, and then I play with the dogs, and then it's just finding stuff to do is a task.
Aye.
It's tough.
Aye. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of houses by the end of this will be looking quite nice licks of paint and wallpaper or whatever it is. That seems to be what people are doing at the moment. What are you doing to sort of fill your time, Paul? What's keeping you occupied at the moment in the house?
I've been training. I'm trying to do as much as I can, like say skipping, shadow boxing, my stomach exercises, yoga. What I can do, things that I can do. I do weights. When I'm in the gym. When we're not in lockdown, I do my weights maybe 3-4 times a week. But I don't rely. A lot of people rely on definitely it's weights that they just want to focus on weights. If I don't do weights, it doesn't faze me. I'm more into conditioning rather than lifting weights all the time. But I do lift weights, but it's not my be all and end all. As long as I can do my skipping and shadow boxing, I'm quite happy.
A lot of people seem to be these days into calisthenics and stuff like that as well. So that's basically just using your own body weight, isn't it?
Aye, definitely. I do a lot of press ups as well.
Aye, and obviously we've got you on to chat a bit about what you're doing now in Dubai, but obviously we want to speak to you a wee bit about your boxing career. You had a very, very successful boxing career. The first thing I wanted to ask you, Paul, for you looking back at your career, what was the one moment in your career that really stood out to you? What was the highlight of your career?
I suppose winning the world title in the record time I done it in my 6th fight. I suppose that's got to be the. I suppose any fighter's highlight. Their career. Every fighter wants to become world champion if possible. You get some fighters that just can maybe they want to win an area title or a British title, and they're happy and they're going to achieve a lot more. My goal for day one was to become world champion. And I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to fight for it, and thankful. And I grabbed it with both hands and won my first world title in kind of record time. And the opportunity came up pretty quickly for me to fight for a second world title, and we took it. And the first attempt I failed because I fought Jose Camacho from Puerto Rico, who was the reigning champion, and he beat me in points in a closely disputed title fight. And I ended up, I think, I had 36 or 42 stitches over 2 eyes. I was pretty badly cut up, so I had 10 months off. But I couldn't really, just to let the eyes get stitched up and to let the eyes heal, basically. So I had a bit of time off, 10 months, and then I get the opportunity to fight. Well, we were supposed to fight a rematch. We had a rematch agreed, and he get an opportunity to fight Michael Cabal, who was a kind of pound for pound in my division, unified champion at the time. In fact, he just lost to Humberto Gonzalez, I think, on the second time. So the title, he was going to fight for the vacant. He was going to fight for the WBO title. So he got the opportunity to fight for it. Camacho went there, and I was left kind of in the cold. And then we signed. We did get an agreement for Top Rank and Matchroom. I was going to fight the winner. So that was quite good, and it was arranged. Carbajal won the fight. We were going to fight on the 22nd of November in the Indian Reservation in Phoenix, Arizona. And then Carbajal went for his third fight with Humberto Gonzalez, so he gets stripped to the belt, and I fought for the vacant title, and that's how I get the opportunity to fight for the second. I could probably have made strawweight again. I went back to the strawweight division. Light flyweight was comfortable for me, so when the opportunity came, I took it, and I went for there. I get my second world title. I think I was the only fighter to win 2 world titles in 10 fights until Naya Inoue from Japan, the monster. I think he's a 3-weight world champion now. He won it. He equaled me. He won it. He won his first world title fight in his 6th as well, the same as myself. And then he went on and won his 2nd world title fight in his 7th fight. So he kind of broke my record of being the only one. So there was 2 of us in that, and then Lomachenko won. He put the 2 of his back a spot because he won it in his 3rd fight. Mm-hmm. He won his first world title. Then and both anyway, and Lomachenko, the only 2 guys to have 3 world titles within 10 fights, and I'm the only guy to have 2 world titles within 10 fights.
What was that? Just to take you back, because obviously you get that massive fight and you're so early in your pro career. What's the mindset like going into that? Because were you expecting to get that opportunity as early as you did?
I was hoping. I mean, when I turned professional, I was highly successful as an amateur, travelling the circuit and fighting all the titles. I'd competed in the Commonwealth, the Europeans, the World Cups, numerous amounts of multi-nations across the world. So I had over 200 fights as an amateur. So I was probably getting to the stage, and I was late turning professional. James, I was 24, and it probably my weight. They turned professional a lot earlier. So I was champion at 24, and my main ambition, an objective, I should say, when I was turned professional, was to fight for a world title. And I kept busting my manager's ass every day. When can you get me a title fight? When can you get me a title fight? And they just kind of laughed and says, listen, we'll get you something at some point. And when Nigel Benn fought Mauro Galvano and for defending his WBC title at the exhibition centre, I was on the undercard. And I'm trying to think, I think Drew Docherty was chief support to Mauro Galvano. And I remember being in the Albany Hotel in Glasgow, and Barry Hearn says to me, Paul, I need to have a wee word with you. Let's get a chat. So he says, listen, I'm moving you up to chief support. The Docherty fights off. I think it was Drew Docherty anyway, but he says, the fight's off, your chief support, I want you a wee performance tonight because I've got a lot of guys for a lot of the different organisations here watching. He says, performance tonight, you'll fight for the world title in 10 weeks' time. And I says, nothing like putting a bit of pressure on me, the day of the fight. So that was it. But I took it in my stride. I mean, I fought. I had a good performance with Kevin Jenkins. It went the distance. It was live, ITV, and whatever, Eurosport, and whatever other stations, they were airing it to. So I knew it was the next day. That night, I knew he said, you'll be fighting in 10 weeks' time. So that was it. So I had a few days off back in the gym, and we just prepared. I had a couple of different opponents put in before I actually fought who I was meant to be fighting. Or who I did fight, I should say, not who I was meant to be fighting. I was meant to fight a guy from El Salvador, Renny Dimas Valle, who had 11-0 with something like 10 KO. But it was something to do with his medicals. And then I fought Fernando Martinez, who had 42 fights with 36 knockouts. So it was a big... but I had every confidence because I'd fought so many different fighters, as an amateur, and he was a southpaw also, and having that in your first week didn't really affect, didn't bother me, with being a southpaw either.
That's one thing as well. When I looked at your amateur record, it was you were extremely well travelled in that as well. You fought a lot of international, so stuff like that rather than just staying domestically as an amateur. That's obviously must have benefited you, as you say, moving into the pros, getting that wealth of experience behind you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, do you know something? Sometimes your hardest fights are the guys from home because they want what you've got, or they want to get what you've got. You know what I mean? So sometimes they're the hardest fights.
But obviously, like you say, in your career, you set out to become a world champion, and
I did.
You not only did it, you did it once. You did it twice. Obviously, 2 different weight classes as well. The other thing as well, when your boxing career came to an end. What was that? Was that a difficult transitional period for you, finishing up as a pro fighter, then looking to go on to the next thing?
No, I think at the time, I was in London at the end of my career, training fine, and when I decided to quit, I got offered a third world title fight, flyweight, a super flyweight in Africa, and I decided I went back home. Spent some time at home and just decided, you know what, I'm not going to take it. I was doing things business-wise. I was setting up businesses and different investments, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to call it quits where I am. And I won 2 world titles, and I was happy and quite content, And you get a lot. I know a lot of guys, a lot of fighters who've left the sport, and they come back. It's hard. You know what? It's a hard bug to get rid of.
Yeah, it's something you definitely see. But were you quite conscious of that when you left the sport? That was it. You wanted to. That was you were away, and you weren't ever thinking about coming back, or was that temptation there?
No, I always thought about it. I always thought, will I get back? Will I make a comeback? But I never. I started getting dragged into different things, so I never went back. And I was glad to get the rest because I was active for probably a teenager. I was active, and I remember when I was growing up, I didn't have boys' holidays. My holidays was travelling with the team somewhere. Sometimes I would travel to this country, come back, travel to the next country, come back, travel to the next country. It was just a circuit, a constant circuit. And I was fortunate enough, I went to mostly every tournament. Guys, guys die. They break your arm to go to all these tournaments, and I was getting to go to every tournament. And sometimes you think, "Fuck, there you go, I'm travelling again next week." But I was fortunate enough and blessed.
Aye, because that's the other thing as well. I suppose you sacrifice a lot for boxing, because you effectively give up your youth and your teenage years and all that stuff. And I guess that means when you retire, so you've got a wee bit of time to just relax and I guess reflect on your career as well.
Yeah, so you do. I suppose I think when you're going through your career now, I understand when a lot of people say enjoy it, and at the time, it's not I didn't enjoy it. I probably didn't appreciate it at the time. I appreciate what I achieved. Yeah. And it's not till later in life you think, people say, you won 2 world titles in 10 fights? And I don't think that ever sunk in when I won my first world title, or even when I won my second world title. I don't think it ever sunk in because I think I put enough pressure on myself. It was expected.
So is it one of the things, the further you get away from it almost, the more you can sort of look back and have that bit of appreciation for what you accomplished?
I think so. And I see a lot of guys. Listen, I had a lot of luck as well. I get the opportunities at the right time and I grabbed it with both hands. You know what I mean? Because I see a lot of talented fighters, don't get the opportunities, through numerous amounts of reasons. And politics sometimes, is one of the reasons that I don't. And I was fortunate enough at the time I got the opportunities. So I don't, I'm not saying, I was the best in the world. I achieved to be the best in the world and fought and won world titles, and I get the opportunities. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, that's something about boxing that maybe you'd be able to speak on. Sometimes there's those fights, like obviously Mayweather, Pacquiao springs to mind, but it feels like you just get deprived of fights because of different things. Do you think that's something that ultimately can hurt boxing when different organisations and promoters don't get the fights put on that the fans want to see? No, I don't think so. It's been historically, it's always been that way. And when you look at, I understand for say mixed martial arts, talking about the MMA still. I mean, you've got guys in UFC who fight for UFC. That's it, right? You've got guys in one championship fighting one championship. You've got guys in BAMMA fighting BAMMA. You've guys in Cage Warriors fighting Cage Warriors. Whereas that's for organisations, okay? Now you've got WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF. That's the four, and then you've got the IBO. But that's the four main organisations. Now, if they were just single and you're in the ratings, and that's the only fight that you could fight for. So let's say you've got Tyson and AJ in that rating, and that one top 10, they're going to fight. But you've got different organisations, and what you've got is you've got the governing bodies say, for one, right, AJ, you need to make a defence. Tyson, you need to make a defence. And you've got guys in the top 10. And I do understand that money ultimately talks, when they're going to fight and who they're going to fight. But what you get in between that is you get promoters, different organisations, different TV networks, they all want that bit of the pie. They want the full bit of the pie. And it's trying to come to compromise and say, right, okay. And then most of the time the fighters want to fight each other and they're happy to give away. But it's the promoters and people remember going, no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
So that's just politics. It's historically been there, and it's always going to be here.
I guess it's in the sense it's like any sort of corporate world. It all boils down to cash at the end.
You know, it's a richest game where you make the most money. You know, in combat industry. You know, because you look at UFC, you've got guys like Conor who's making a lot of money, but he's 1% of fighters within that organisation. You know, you go to boxing, you've got Fury, you've got AJ, you've got, you know, Wilder, you've got even the lower scale heavyweight fighters are making more money than UFC fighters.
Aye, there is a big that's one thing we pay in mixed martial arts. There's a big disparity from the top percentage of guys, and the only way you can make the money is getting to that top, and it's so difficult. It's definitely something.
The fighters, James, that get to the top and don't make a lot of money. You know, where do you make the money is if you draw in the fans. You know, and you've got, I mean, Conor got my attention. That's why I started watching all of the mixed martial arts, because it's not just his fighting skills and what he was doing. You know, he was doing what he was saying he was going to do, but it was the build-up and how he was, you know, and at the press conferences, the weigh-ins. It's exciting, and that's what ultimately it's down to TV networks, viewing figures, bums and seats.
Yeah, it's the same across all combat sports, I guess. Obviously, Tyson Fury's he's done very well. Obviously, he's got all the talent there and the skills, but he's very marketable. And I wanted to speak to you a wee bit about your coaching as well now, James. I know you've got a few things to ask about from the coaching side, so we'll bring you in for here and we'll...
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is I'm aware of how good a coach Paul is, and I think everybody still he's well known as obviously a world champion fighter, like a world class level boxer coming out of Scotland, which there isn't a lot of. But I don't think a lot of people know about how involved in coaching he is. I know he's worked with a lot of really good boxers and stuff. So just basically, could you tell us kind of what boxers you've worked with before, Paul?
When I was back in Scotland, I was working with I worked with Craig Docherty when he fought Pollock for that British Masters title. I worked with Chris Hughes when he fought for the Commonwealth title. I've worked with John Simpson when he fought Choi for the WBC title, when he fought Guy Davis, and when he fought Paul Appleby. Jonathan Sloy when he won his WBC. Xander White. I'm trying to think of Craig McEwen. I worked with a lot. I worked with a lot of guys. I worked with quite a few, James. Yeah. And then when I came to Dubai, I wasn't working with fighters. I was working as a second and doing cuts. I do a lot more cuts now. You know, work with different cornermen when the fighters are. I worked with John Kavanagh last year, doing wrapping his guys' hands and doing the cuts for them when these guys over in Dubai fighting.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy it. It keeps me involved, whereas I'm not involved fully every day. You know what I mean?
Is it something you would like to be involved more with coaching?
Do you know what? If I got someday, James, you know, it's you do it day in, day out, so you understand. Sometimes it's you don't get any credit for what you do. You know what I mean? And you don't make any money, to be honest with you, unless you've got somebody fighting heavyweight title fights. But if I get somebody, you know, who was dedicated with potential, yeah, of course I would get involved. It depends. I suppose it's having the right person at the right time, isn't it? And everything adds up. I don't mean financially. I'm just talking about attitude-wise, discipline, commitment. So possibly going forward, yeah, maybe at some point.
So I think that boxing coaches are completely different to martial arts coaches. I tried to study a lot of boxing coaches because boxing trainers more, because they're better at it. They deal with guys on a one-to-one basis more, whereas from my experience, a lot of guys, even fighters in the UFC, are training in classes and groups and stuff like this. And the guys I've had success with is guys I spend a lot of time one-on-one with, like the same way I've seen boxing coaches doing. It's just I think for me, I've learnt more studying boxing trainers, like right back to like Eddie Futch and rare ceremonies, reading about these like masters, compared to there's masters obviously in MMA, martial arts coaching and stuff like that, but the guys that teach boxing to that level are better trainers than most of the people you encounter in martial arts, in my experience. So I think with somebody with your knowledge and that experience, like the amateur career, the world titles and stuff, if you can find like that right student type of thing, you can. I think you do something really special.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just getting that right student, and you know, in there's a lot more boxing shows. MTKF came here now. They've set up and they're running shows. Maybe a couple of shows a year. They're just kind of set up, so which is good for the region, you know. And it's bringing a different sport into this market. The Amateur Association are not. I spoke to them a few times. They don't have a lot of great talent. You know, they're not certainly not getting any fighters who are going to be going to the next Olympics. In my opinion, as of yet, it's not saying they can't get it in time. So it's developing here as well. And the more shows that are put on, then you never know what comes through the door here, because I live here, and it's a bit hard unless you get a fighter wanting to come over and stay here and do a camp here. So we'll see what happens, James. We'll see what happens going forward. But I agree with you. You know, there is a lot more. I think there's a lot more success in one-to-one working with the fighters, and it's different. You know, you and I done the kind of workshop at your place last year or the year before, and there's a difference from everything's balance related, as you understand that. You know, from whether it's any combat sports, whether it's judo, karate, jiu-jitsu, boxing, mixed martial arts. It's about anticipation, understanding the movement of the balance and the timing, and the placement of the feet and hands working together. And I think boxing needs a lot. You need a lot more one-to-one on boxing, I think. And I understand your discipline's really hard, because you've got jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, and boxing all rolled into one discipline, and you have to try and master every one of them. So it's a hard. That's hard. And I think when you've got a class and you're taking even if you get 4 or 5 fighters all training together, it's hard to give them that one-to-one attention to detail. Yeah. You know, it takes a long time.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
So when Paul was in doing the seminar, was the old higher level he was at, is that something for you, James? Then you can just sit back and watch how Paul's coaching and what he's saying, and you can just try and pick up every bit of information you can.
Yeah, I try and pick up as much information, details, kind of knowledge as possible, right down to minute details. Like the smaller the detail, the better. And that's kind of the stuff I got for that seminar. But it's like you try to take stuff for everybody. You're trying to absorb information and then try and put your own kind of fingerprints on it. And even stuff like how he was delivering the session is important, and how he deals with people like that. At that seminar, I think there was like 35 people there, and there was guys in there who are fighting in the UFC, and then there's a couple like women who are in who kind of train recreationally. And it was interesting for me just to watch how Paul treated them, and he knows how to treat them, like depending on who he's working with, and he can either dumb down the information, or he can go into his massive amount of details with the simplest of techniques. We never done anything fancy at that seminar. It was all about foot placement, like what Paul was saying, and balance and pushing and pulling. For me as a coach, it's just nice to see how guys with that level of knowledge and understanding of sport put it across. And if I can take something from it, then it's a massive thing for me and also for my students.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well, Paul, is obviously you've came for the highest of highs in boxing at the highest level, to then putting on a gi, putting on a white belt, throwing yourself into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Me and James spoke about this off camera, and I think that's a really hard thing for some guys to do, to go for being in their sport, being at the highest level, to then go into a sport where you're a novice. I find sometimes we get high level guys coming into other sports, it can be quite humbling, and maybe the ego doesn't allow them to progress in that sport. But you've went in done really well. Tell us what it was like. What got you into jiu-jitsu and what those first classes were like that you, if you can remember.
I was training with, I think at the time I was training with Craig Doherty, who was fighting, all of a sudden he was fighting MMA. And I was training Mark Connor, you know Mark?
Yeah.
One of the black belts for, you know Mark, James, Mark Connor.
Yeah.
And I think Hissy as well. And I think it was Mark Connor said to me, Paul, you should come and try with jiu-jitsu. I said, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu. He said, you'll like it, you'll come and like it. I said, but I don't want to do it. He says, if you come to jiu-jitsu, I'll train you. And you can train me boxing. I says, but I don't want you to train me jiu-jitsu. I want you to pay me what I'm doing now. But I went one Sunday and I was in, it was me and one of my clients went, 4 of us, and I was in there for 2 hours with a gear and I thought, wow, this is unbelievable. You know, and Craig they just battered me for 2 hours, but I just thought, I'm not getting punched. And then I was back the next day and Guy said to me, says, you back again? I went, I'm back again. And then I was back the next day. Then the next day, then I was in the morning and in the afternoon, in the morning and in the afternoon. Then I was in morning, afternoon and night time. I just got obsessed with it. And then I think I competed not long after I started.
Yeah.
I fought in Edinburgh in the Scottish Championships. And then just before I came to Dubai, I fought in a no-gi, a submission only no-gi. And I fought against Reese. I get drawn against Reese, but at the time, I'm not sure what weight. What weight is Reese, James?
He's bigger than you.
He's bigger.
He'd have been under 65 kilos maybe then, but he fights MMA at 61.
Reese.
He was bigger than me, but anyway, I weighed in and there was nobody else at my weight to compete. So I weighed in at 59 kilo. And it was Gary, I think. No, it was Marcus. What do you call him? Marcus.
Yeah.
Marco. Is it Marco or Marcus?
Marco Nardini.
Nardini. He says, there's no one else in at your weight. He says, the next weight is 73. But I can give you your money back. Or I can move you to 73. I went, I'll fight at 73. So I fought, and I get drawn against Reese. So I fought. It was first 5 minutes submission only. Then first they scored a point. So I think we were on the mat for 9 minutes. And Reese got a pass. And he won. And that was it. And then that was me. I moved to Dubai.
What Reese is it? So I know, because I'm trying. There's a couple. Reese McEwen, right.
The MMA fighter.
Aye. Just a couple of so it's crazy that going into jiu-jitsu. So was it that? Did it give you that competitive edge back again? And it's just an eye opener, seeing all the.
You know what? See, when I started, I was getting into some shape. Just with the pushing and pulling, the weight, different weights and all that, and I just enjoyed the workout basically. But I was getting battered every single day, and I was training with wee Hissy a lot, and we hit every single day, armbarred me every day, boom, 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 and I thought, I need to get better at this. So I kept coming back. I kept coming back because I wanted to get better. I didn't want to get armbarred every day. So I think he was using me as a ragdoll, honestly, practicing all his stuff with me.
What's that old saying? They say every black belt's a white belt, or didn't stop coming?
Aye, that's it. So that was it. I came, when I came to Dubai, I started in Dubai. And again, and I had a bit of a sabbatical when I came here, which was a year, initially going to be a year, went on for about 2 years. And I just rolled every day. Just mat time, I get mat time.
And there's quite a lot of jiu-jitsu in Dubai, isn't there?
It's compulsory in the schools in Abu Dhabi.
It's mental.
Yeah, so when I come over, I trained initially with a guy called Henrique Santana. Good coach, good guy, Brazilian, European champion, British champion. I think he's maybe a 4 or 5 straight black belt. You know what I mean? Dan black belt. And then he's left. And when he left, I went to UFC gym and trained. And I trained with the same trainer I trained with just now, a guy called Taba Altaha from Jordan, who trains. He was one of Andrew Galval's students. So I've trained with him, and when he left UFC, I just followed him, and I've been with him ever since. So I trained with him. So he gave me my purple belt and my brown belt.
You pretty much carried over that work ethic that you had that made you an elite level, a world class level boxer.
I train hard, James.
You've just carried it over to jiu-jitsu. It's impressive, man, because we've had lots of nowhere near your level of boxer in here, and they'll come in and they'll hit the pads all night, and then you say, like, maybe try this jiu-jitsu class, and then some wee guy who looks like a nerd beats them up, like chokes them and stuff, and you'll never see them again. They'll be like, fuck that, and then they start making excuses.
I like to win. I like to win though. I must admit, I do like winning.
you must. You obviously you don't get to brown belt without kind of submerging yourself on the technique side of jiu-jitsu. And it's fascinating. How do you compare? I actually think teaching jiu-jitsu has made me a better striking coach. Like you were saying earlier, it's the same principles. Fight combat's all the same stuff. It's all time and distance and balance. How do you compare jiu-jitsu with boxing?
In what way? What do you mean compare it in what way?
Like even just the process of learning it, like the emphasis on technique and conditioning, and what you're saying, like with the crossover stuff, like it's both of them are obviously completely different, but there's definitely similarities there. Can you expand on that? Like what I think them saying?
When I started jiu-jitsu, very quickly I understood the difference. I mean, I think I remember rolling with you one time, and you said to me, you use the hands a lot, you fight the hands a lot, which is good. So I think I understood that pretty quickly, James. You know, keeping range and distance. You know, because if somebody gets close to me, especially an offensive fighter, you know, a pressure fighter, they want that pressure on you. So I understood keeping that range of distance to avoid certain move, whether it's a choke, armbar, you know, or whatever it may be. So I understood that pretty quickly, and I understood using the hips and the shoulders. You know, and the fetus position, you know, boxing, our hands are here constantly. My hands are like that constantly when I roll. My hands are never away from my chin. They're always in close because I don't want to get armbarred. I don't want to get, you know, a Kimura, or, you know, American. I don't want to get in tap to my arms. So I'm always pretty tight. I've got quite a tight guard, you know, and I've got a good retention guard as well. But I would say, do you know what? I would say boxing's harder, long term. But jiu-jitsu is harder short term because there's so much to pick up. When you think about it, there's only really 6 punches you throw in boxing. Okay?
Yeah.
The 1-2, the right hook, left hook, right uppercut, left uppercut. That's it. And it's how you compile them and put them together to get different, you know, variations of combinations. But what people don't understand and neglect is the feet work and the range.
Yeah.
You know, I see guys hitting bags and they're too close to a bag. You know, and sometimes it's that, you know, and you think, oh, he's too close. And I don't say anything because it's not my business, and I don't want to come across as, oh, I'm a know-all, you know, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, whether it be in boxing or jiu-jitsu. I like to perfect things and get them done right.
Yeah. You wouldn't have achieved the things you've achieved without that mentality of striving for perfection. Like that's something I've noticed with elite level fighters that they've all got that, an obsession almost.
I think with me, James, even growing up, it was an obsession. All I done was box, train. You know, and I was in the gym every day. We never had days off. When I was a child growing up, we were in the gym 7 days a week training. You know, running in the morning. You know, train at night time, and away with the camp.
What do you think about? Just kind of touching on that subject, what do you think about these? We see this a lot in MMA where guys they call it a fight camp. They get a fight match and they hammer it for 6 to 8 weeks, and then you'll not see them for a wee bit, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I've got another fight." Whereas I prefer guys that are in all the time. Like you're trying, like you touched on earlier, you're trying to learn 4 areas of combat sports. Like you stand up, you're wrestling, you're grappling on the ground, and strength and conditioning separate, and then you can't do that in an 8-week block. Do you know what I mean? It's even
you can't. But if you look at the 1% of fighters in any category, whether it be UFC, boxing, you know, any high combat sport, you know, any elite athlete of any, the 1% will always train, and they're always kind of close to their weight or watching their weight. You can't stop. For you know, you have a fight. You might have a day or 2 days off, even a week off, you know, depending how hard your fight was. If you're banged up, if you're cut, if you're bruised up, you can't move, but you're always back into the gym. But you don't always need to train hard. When you look at, someone told me years and years ago, see when you see racehorses training, they're not flat out at the time, but they're always running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same. You have to keep everything working, in my opinion. But that's maybe just me, because I have an obsession with keeping fit. And I think what it also does is it keeps your mind strong.
Yeah. And plus you're learning all the time.
You're always learning, James. The minute you stop learning, you're actually finished.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I see guys in the gym and go, God, I need to try that myself. And you're always learning.
That's the kind of white belt mentality, isn't it? It's like that. Just pick up something new. It's a good kind of trait.
But you're always learning. But it's good. I like guys who you always see in the gym who are always training. I like that. I like that attitude. I've worked a lot of fighters who they go in benders and you think it drives you mad.
You're quite lucky in that sense, James, with a lot of guys that are in the gym at the moment, in your fight team, that core group you've got. The guys are never really out in the gym. Obviously, this current situation being the exception. So I think you've said it in the past as well, you're quite lucky. You've got a good solid group of guys in there that sort of like to train all the time anyway.
I think that they're fully aware that MMA is still in its infancy. Like we touched on this with the Mark Goddard interview. It's 25, 26 years old, so it's evolving at a rate now where if you take 6 months off and you fall behind the rate of evolution of the game and stuff. So if you can't take time off, right, you need to do your fight, get back in the gym, improve on stuff, and keep pressing on. And the other thing is, it's almost like an arms race, MMA. The meta game keeps changing. Like the current state of the game is completely different from 2 years ago. You see it with there are very few guys holding on to titles for any length of time because somebody comes up with answers to the problems that the guys are kind of putting on people. So you're having people there struggling with Max Holloway for a while, and then Volkanovski comes along and he's got the answers to the Holloway kind of problem, and that drags the game forward. So the game changes usually in line with the current or the kind of champions at each division. So you can't take time off. I know guys that they've burnt out and stuff like that. They're maybe overtrained or stuff gets in the way, maybe family stuff, and they're like, I'm going to take 6 months off and then I'll come back and I'll pick up. And Graham Turner's an example. I can use an example. He went for Cage Warriors world title contender, and then he was in a title eliminator fight for the Bama world title and snapped a ligament in his ankle. And by the time he rehabbed it and came back, guys that couldn't touch him in the gym had passed him just because the game had passed that style. And it's an eye opener for me seeing that. So the young guys in here, I don't need to tell them to get in the gym. Like there's some guys I need to tell them to get away from the gym more. And if you have that in guys, they're going to be easy to work with. Like if I have to phone a guy and ask him where he is, I'll do it once. But if I have to do it twice, then there won't ever be a third phone call. Do you know what I mean? And it means as a coach, they're wasting my time, they're wasting their own time, and they're wasting their teammates' time. So most of the guys, I'm fortunate, most of the guys are here because they want to be here. And if I wasn't here, they'd probably still be here anyway.
I think that's something as a coach you've got to be conscious of as well, because we're speaking earlier about the difference between boxing coaches and MMA coaches. It's that time you've got to spend with guys, so you've got to use that time on the right guys, I guess.
It's tough. That's why I limited our fight team. I ended up with a point last year there was 32 fighters in the team, and I was like, I need to get rid of some of them. Like it's far too many for one person or me and maybe 3 assistant coaches to deal with. So now we've got guys passed through now who are no longer competing, and it's dropped the number down. And other things I'll do, like I used to have months where I'd have 10 guys out on one weekend, and the next weekend I'd 6 out. So now what I do is I try and use time management a wee bit better and don't put them all out close together. And it means I can spend more time with them all individually. I can use certain guys for other camps and stuff, so they're still progressing. They're bringing in for sparring partners and whatever else. So you've seen this with Mark Ewan. He's been part of Stevie Ray's last 2 camps for UFC fights, and he's still an amateur. This kid, he's 20-year-old. but his level has shot up because he's been so close to these fight camps for the Michael Johnson fight and stuff. But it's time management with these guys. But if they're not pulling their weight, then it doesn't matter what the coach does. Like it has to be a 50-50 thing. They need to want it as much as I want it, and vice versa. There's coaches and kicking about who are riding on the kind of coattails of super successful athletes who shouldn't be anywhere near like UFC level fights, to be honest.
I think that's across combat sports, isn't it? Really, but Paul, when you were coaching, is that something you're looking for in guys? Have got to have that hunger and that sort of bit in between to make them want to get better.
I can relate to everything James is saying. There's nothing worse when you get a fighter, who buggers off either before a fight or after a fight, and you don't see them. Consistency is the key in anything. For success, consistency is the key. For any success in anything you're doing in life, in my opinion.
Aye, absolutely.
You have to work. You have to want it. What James says, you have to want it. And I think, especially with boxing and mixed martial arts, which I think is tough, man, and brutal. There can't be any room for neglect. In any way, you have to get in there 150% committed, mentally and physically, in my opinion.
The other thing, since you've dedicated yourself and you've put a lot of time in the mat and jiu-jitsu, how was that for you in the body? What's the injuries been like, or have you been lucky to avoid injury up till this point?
I remember when I started. I remember because I used to train with Gary Christie quite a bit as well, and my body was sore. I remember getting up in the morning, I'd be getting out of my bed, pushing. I'm going, oh my god! And it reminded me when I was fighting. When in camps and building up towards fights. I wouldn't say camps because we didn't have camps. We just trained. We trained consistently, really. We would just up the ante depending on when you were fighting. You weren't really fighting. It was just you were still in the gym training, going through the techniques and everything else. So I remember going, wow, my whole body's sore. I remember saying to my wife, my whole arm's sore. And I said to Gary Christie, he said, your body's just probably adapting and changing to different things that you're doing. And obviously with your age as well, you're no 20 years of age, you're a bit older. So, I think, what was I when I started jiu-jitsu? 46, 47 or something, when I started jiu-jitsu. So it was a lot in the body. But, listen, I've got a strong mind and went through it, but it was sore, initially, making that change, making that transition. But now I'm okay. I don't have any, and I've had a couple of wee injuries. I remember when I started, I think, it was a blue belt. I remember rolling a couple of black belts, and my elbow popped at one of them. And the week before the World Pro 2 years ago, I was fighting at purple, and my rib separated from my cartilage. I was rolling with one of my training partners, who is a teammate, and he's a bit heavier than me, and we have a good physical spar. And I was in gi. I wasn't in no gi. I was in gi, and I was doing something stupid with the lapel, and as I rolled over on my shoulder, my rib just popped right out the side, and it was the way the cartilage and the rib had separated. So I had a few weeks off, but that's really about it. But I've been touch wood. I've been very fortunate in regards to injuries.
And we'll just finish up on this one, Paul. Obviously, we've got lockdown currently going on now. Once this is all passed, what's the future for you in terms of jiu-jitsu, competing, and just what you're doing in general? I was supposed to compete. And what day is this? This is. I know it's a Thursday, but it's 17th of April. I was supposed to compete the 14th or 15th this month in the World Pro, but obviously I think it cancelled. So I won't compete. I've not competed from Grand Slam, which was in. I fought in the Grand Slam in January. I got a silver at Brown, and I fought in the Dubai Pro International in December, and I won the gold medal at that. And I fought at 69. I had to move up and fight a heavier weight, so I fought and moved up. I won that. Went back to 62. I was waiting to the Grand Slam, so I won't fighting probably until September, or whenever everything gets back to normal and. The calendar schedule gets back to normal. But we have competitions here constantly. We have submission only comps. We have no gi. We're supposed to fight no gi
the week after Grand Slam and get postponed because it was raining, because it was outdoors. So it was going to be in March, but then obviously the coronavirus kicked in and that get cancelled as well. So there'll be a few different competitions opening up probably. Start for hopefully touch wood, start of September, so I can get back. I'm just trying to get back in and rolling every day. I'm missing the mats.
Have you got a preference to gi or no gi?
I like two. I like both. When I'm doing gi, I love gi. You know, I'm a bit of the lapel freak. I play a lot with the lapel. So I do a lot of that. And then when I'm into no gi, I like, because no gi, when they're in, if you're rolling with somebody a lot heavier, they can contain you a wee bit more if they get the gi. You know, they can stop your movement. Whereas when I'm in no gi, it's harder.
It's faster.
It's harder. It's harder to stop. And I like going under. I like going, you know, for deep half guard and getting under or getting the back. Then moving on to getting the feet. You know, I've been working.
If somebody comes to your door, to want to fight you, you're going to punch him. You're going to take him down and choke him.
Headbutt him.
Headbutt him. It's Scotland.
That's a bit of Scottish.
It depends what size is. If he's too big, I can't headbutt him. I just punch him in the gillies.
It's a bit of Scottish an answer as you can have given, Paul, to be honest with you, mate. And you going to, when you coming back, or any plans in the future to come back to Scotland, maybe see you back in Higher Level at some point?
I'll come back to I'll go back to James's gym and train with some of the guys. So especially, I'll go back and train with Kieran again. I like rolling with Kieran Reid. He's good to roll with. I got an education for him. He's brilliant.
Yeah.
I always remember when I started as a white belt and rolling with Kieran, he used to throw me about the place. And when I was back last time, I had a few good rounds with him, which was good. So I go back, roll with James. I learn from him as well when I'm back. I'll be back. I don't know when, but I'll be back.
That's a good thing as well that you can do that. You can pick up a bit of knowledge and then you can pass a bit of knowledge on. So it's a sort of two-way street, isn't it? And you can learn from each other.
Definitely, aye. And James is very knowledgeable as a coach. I must say that as well. And he's had a lot of success, and long may it continue.
Thanks,
yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Paul, we won't take up too much more of your time. We appreciate you obviously coming on the show and having a chat with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Enjoyed. Yeah, brilliant.
That's been good. And obviously, just for everybody tuning into the show, Paul, I know you've got your YouTube channel and stuff like that. So where can people subscribe to your channel?
And it's just Paul Weir, world champion, and it just says BJJ brown belt. I mean, that's it. Or my Instagram, WBO champ.
Perfect. And obviously, guys, as well, for the Higher Level podcast, if you pop onto the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and go over to the Higher Level Facebook page and make sure you're hitting like and following us on Instagram as well. And we'll keep this content coming to you while we're all currently locked in our house season. Hopefully it stops a few of you from losing your minds. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks, guys.